Good day, students, and welcome back to Science for Young Minds with Merrivitt Education Center. My name is Teacher Bevs, and this series is for Platoon 5. In today's episode, we will learn about clouds and the forms of condensation. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to firstly, understand how the clouds are formed. Secondly, you will also identify the different types of clouds. And lastly, you will also know the different forms of condensation. So what are you waiting for? Are you ready, students? Alright!
Students, if we look up to the sky, we can almost always see the clouds. It can be higher or lower, bigger or smaller, or sometimes they appear white when light is reflected from them. Clouds can also appear dark when they are thicker and denser than normal clouds of a day of mild weather. Now, even though clouds look like made up of gas, it is actually made up of tiny droplets of water or ice crystals. The most common method of clouds formation begins when the sun heats up water from seas, oceans, and other water sources. Some of the water turns into water vapor as it rises up in the air. This process is what we know as evaporation. Now, the farther it moves up, the cooler it gets. So the water vapor turns back into liquid water. This process is what we call condensation. For our next slide, the formation of the clouds needs aerosols. Aerosols provide surface for condensation of water vapor into water droplets. Aerosols are tiny particles suspending in the air, such as sea salt, dust, and pollens. Now, the water droplets start sticking to aerosols, as what you can see on your screen. Then, this creates cool droplets, and these droplets hit each other and create bigger droplets that eventually form clouds. There are many kinds of clouds, but here are the 4 most common examples. Are you ready to learn them? Alright. Now, here are the 4 most common examples of clouds. First, we have cirrus, or a high-altitude type of cloud. Second, stratus, or it means layer in Latin. Third, we have cumulus, or a heap or a pile. And lastly, cumulonimbus, or a dense cloud that going vertically, which the base can look very dark. Now, students, let's learn more about each cloud. Cirrus clouds are white. They are curly and have a feathery look. Sun can shine through them. Second, we have stratus clouds. Stratus clouds form layers stretching across the sky. They often cover the whole sky, giving a dull gray day, and sometimes light drizzle falls out of these clouds. Then, we have cumulus clouds, which are thick and puffy. Most of these clouds have flat bottom. The top of the clouds is round. They can shape like a hill. And lastly, we have the cumulonimbus clouds that can sometimes turn into dark clouds. This cloud brings heavy rainfall. Now, boys and girls, let's proceed to different forms of condensation. Again, when we say condensation, this when water vapor or a gas change into liquid water. Here are the forms of condensation: fog, dew, and frost. Let's learn more about them one by one. First on our list is fog. Fog. These are tiny water drops hovering in the air. It looks like a cloud, but it can be very near the ground. Like a cloud, it is made up of thousands or millions of tiny water droplets or ice crystals. When air is cooled close to the Earth's surface, water vapor condenses into water droplets. These droplets are light enough to remain suspended in the air and form fog. Now, fog reduces the visibility near the ground level. Thick fog may cause traffic accidents, which may result in injuries and loss of lives. So please drive safely, especially when there's fog. Avoid using high beam headlights in fog, as fog consists of tiny water droplets that spread and reflect light. Next to our list is dew. What is dew? A dawn, very small of water, often cling to plants. For example, if you walk around your garden early in the morning, you can find some water droplets on the leaves. These water droplets on the leaves are called dew. Let's learn how dew formed. Air contains water in the form of gas called water vapor. When warm or moist air passes cool surfaces, the air starts to condense onto any exposed surfaces. This happens when the air is humid enough and the cold surface manages to cool water vapor. Water droplets look amazing on flowers or leaves. The temperature when condensation begins to happen is known as dew point. And lastly, we have frost. Frost is when water vapor changes into solid. It is a thin white layer of ice formed on exposed surfaces, like plants and windows, that are outside and filled with a good amount of moisture. Frost can form when the water vapor in the air turns directly into ice without going through the liquid state.
Now let's take note. We've learned more about clouds and how they are formed. We also know that there are four main types of clouds. Also, the forms of condensation such as fog, dew, and frost. Now it's trivia time. Did you know that the average cloud weighs an incredible 500,000 kilograms or more? See you all in the next episodes of Science for Young Minds with Merivit Education Center. Thank you and happy learning!